Welcome to the Tribal Chiefs pre-tape Smackdown episode before the Elimination Chamber. What's going on, YouTube world and YouTube tribe? I had a busy day, so these are late uploads, but you're going to get two wrestling reviews. First going to be Smackdown, then I'm going to do Elimination Chamber. A little preview into my Elimination Chamber thoughts. Not too far off from what I'm going to tell you about SmackDown. The word of the day would be disappointing. Not like a super bad disappointing either. Just a little. It was just disappointing for Elimination Chamber match. But SmackDown, as the shirt implies, we're doing SmackDown first. So here we go. They started off SmackDown with the contract signing for I was about to say Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville versus Ronda Rousey and Naomi. So Alan Pierce, he opened SmackDown, welcoming everybody to SmackDown. And telling everyone reminding everybody about the match at Elimination Chamber, but saying that only happens if they get out here and sign the contract, so he brings them out. And Charlotte and Sonya made their entrance first. Then there's Ronda and Naomi. Now, what I think they said this episode was pre-taped sometime last week. It seemed like they said it was pre-taped after last week's SmackDown. They actually did an additional SmackDown episode for the audience that was there, which would make sense. Hence is why there's only 3 matches on the card, which is another big problem for me. But we got them sitting here talking, jabbing Sonya Deville and them. Sonya saying, how she can't stand people like Ronda and Naomi. They have no respect for authority figures and their bosses. And they basically, Naomi and Ronda taunted her, almost about to call her the B word. Ronda was like, did you forget how to spell your name? Because she was stalling to sign the contract. And tell her, it is B-I-T. And they was like, she said, oh, wait. They stopped her. From finishing it, but then they basically, Ronda took over, just basically like sign the contract, Sonya, and Sonya signed it, and Charlotte signed it, and then Naomi signed it, telling her that I'm gonna give, saying she gonna stop the taste out of Sonya's mouth, and that Ronda's gonna beat the hell out of both Charlotte and Sonya. Charlotte had a jab at Charlotte had a jab at Naomi, say, I don't know what you're giddy for. She said, I beat you and you lost last week. But Sonya stops everything. They were like, she was telling them like once again, reminding Naomi how she always keep interrupting her before she could get something out, saying that if they would have just shut their mouths for a minute, they would have heard what she was trying to tell them that was changed in the contract, which was revealed that because of Ronda's interview when she was saying she could beat Sonya. I think she said she could beat Sonya and Charlotte, or just Sonya with one hand tied behind her back. So Sonya thought it was a good idea to actually have that as a stipulation in the match. And she ran it by with the higher ups, and since Ronda did that interview, they was like, fine, you got it. And so as Ronda signed the contract, the match would be, Sonya Deville and Charlotte versus Naomi and Ronda, but Ronda with one hand tied behind her back, and Ronda just took it and signed it instantly, making it cool. And then, it was, I think that's why I said this was filmed last week. It was leaked around last week's SmackDown, the whole segment where they smacked their heads on the table. So this segment was already shown through a leaked video footage on YouTube that what was going to happen. That's how I knew that going into it, like, okay, cause I remember what they in that video what Charlotte had on. I'm like, oh, okay, so they go get their head slammed, and that's I was right. So this episode is basically pre-taped because it had to be in Saudi Arabia. This will lead to the first match of the night, which is Sheamus versus Ricochet. Now, apparently, I didn't catch I skipped last week's SmackDown, but apparently on last week's SmackDown, Ricochet has been having some good matches, and he actually won against Sheamus' protege. God, I can't remember his name. So tip of my tongue. Can't remember his name. But he won against the guy. He was a caller for NXT. God dang it! You know this is embarrassing when you do the video and can't remember the guy's name that you're trying to figure out, and you don't want to waste time. But I cannot remember his name. Cause you know when something right there in your head and you cannot, for the life of you, remember what that guy is called, and it's just like whoa, where is this? I got an idea. Hold on. Ridge Holland. There we go. Ha. Got it. Ridge Holland. So basically, Ricochet beat Ridge Holland last week, and then in a good match, and then he had so Sheamus was like, okay, let me take a stab at it this week, and the match between Sheamus and Ricochet was also a good match, and I can't lie, I love Ricochet's Jin Kazama Tekken inspired ring gear, and that's basically Jin's original ring gear from Tekken 3 when he debuted it. He also had, I think in that game, he also had his school uniform as he was still in high school at that time. But yeah, I love his Jin Kazama ring gear inspired gear, and but yeah, this match was a good match. Sheamus and Ricochet actually, because there was only 3 matches, they got a little lengthy in here. But overall, it was well worth it because Ricochet and them put on a good match. And Ricochet came out with the victory that I didn't think he was going to come out with. But yeah, I don't know where they're going with this. But I'm all for Ricochet actually having some victories. And probably at least being moved up to if he's going to be in the mid-card, at least to get him the Intercontinental Championship. But more on that later. We got some backstage segments, and then interviews with Sami Zayn, and then we would get the second match, which is Ivor versus Jay Uso. And this match, I want to say I didn't care for. It just didn't mean nothing because it's about time for them to have their tag team match, and boy, that's a big thing. That's another thing I was disappointed with in Elimination Chamber, but I understand your time constraints, but you'll see more about that in the Elimination Chamber, my Elimination Chamber review. But yeah, this match was a good match between Ivor and Jay Uso for the most part. But again, Ivor would win this match via DQ as Ivor was taking the Jay and was about to beat Jay, but Jimmy would then would jump in the ring and hit him with the championship belts to cause the DQ. Still, even though giving them the win, like Roman said, he rather lose. If you was gonna lose anyway, I'd rather for you to lose with a DQ instead of being pinned. I guess being pinned is worse than losing via DQ. We would then get the Drew McIntyre promo. He basically talked about his fun times in New Orleans. He reminisced about the good things in his life, and he said the reason why he did it was because of what Baron Corbin and Riddick Moss did to him at day one. And he said they almost ended his career and his wrestling career, and I guess he was saying to the point almost his life. And he replayed what happened to him, and he basically was saying he was going to destroy Riddick Moss at Elimination Chamber. But this would bring out Riddick Moss and Baron Corbin. Notice I'm not calling them because I hate Happy Corbin and I hate Madcap Moss. I don't want to call them that, so I'm calling them by the names. I call him Baron Corbin. I think that's his name, Riddick Moss. But yeah, they would come out and basically tell Drew McIntyre that they're going to finish what they started at day. He's going to finish what they started at day one, and that he told a lame joke, a Rice Krispie joke about Drew McIntyre's neck. But this would prompt Drew to tell them that he's going to destroy and beat Riddick Moss at Elimination Chamber once again. We get the third match of the night, which is the last match of the night. Which is Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. This match was a good match. This is, I would say, if I had to say any of these matches, which is only 3, was any of the best matches, I would say this was probably the best match he was going to get out of this show. And it was a good, back and forth. Sami Zayn looked good. Shinsuke looked good. But, because of Shinsuke's injury and the reason him not having matches for so long, you automatically saw that he was going to win. Plus, this was also another match that was spoiled because this match was pre-taped. I also already knew who won this match. But still, it was still obvious that Shinsuke was going to lose because this run as Intercontinental Champion has been lackluster, to say the least. At times I have forgotten, and I'm not joking too. At times I literally forgotten that Shinsuke was the Intercontinental Champion. At times I was like, "Who's the Intercontinental Champion?" Because I don't remember who it was. I found myself asking people, "Who the hell was the Intercontinental Champion?" Oh, Shinsuke Nakamura. He still got the Intercontinental Championship. I thought they'd been dropped off of him. Like, why haven't I seen him? Oh, he's been injured. But nonetheless, this was a great match. Well, I won't say great. This was a good match. But in the end, Sami Zayn would win, I think, with a roll-up to pin Shinsuke Nakamura and become the new Intercontinental Champion. But I also heard the rumors that he might be defending that championship not against Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania, but against none other than Johnny Knoxville. I think that's why they still continue to use Johnny Knoxville, because I think they try to build up a feud with them, with Johnny Knoxville actually rumored to win that match and become the new Intercontinental Champion. Then we have the little ending promo for the show, which is Roman Reigns and Goldberg. Basically, they got each other's face, talking each other about who was what. I think Roman's, basically said he was going to beat Goldberg at Elimination Chamber. And Goldberg responded and said that he said he got it all wrong. He said, "You're not next." He said, "I'm next." As in, I'm the next Universal Champion. And they basically ended the night with them in each other's face. Literally, that is all. One page worthy of a SmackDown show. So, with all that being said, if I had to get this episode of SmackDown anything, I give it a 6. Because I give it a 6 out of 10 big ups, just because this episode really wasn't that great, especially for go home shows. Obviously, with the pay-per-view being the next day over, just really didn't build up the hype for the next day pay-per-view. And when you think about Monday and this episode of SmackDown, they didn't do nothing for the pay-per-view. And you're going to see why when I get to that review. But yeah, the show in its entirety was unnecessary. You would have done better with a clip show of the Attitude Era. It would have been a better episode of SmackDown than what we got here. But they had to do something as a go home show. But let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode of Friday Night Smackdown, or what you thought of this review. And if you enjoyed this review so much, you hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed this review so much you want to support the channel, then all you gotta do is hit that like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification button so you get notified when I drop videos like these. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. But don't go anywhere, because I'm coming right back at you with the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Sorry I did that. It was awkward, right? Awkward. Bye.